I'm Guillaume. I'm one of the co-founders here at Opteo, and today we're going to cover Opteo's KPI alerts. So, as a PPC manager, it's really important for you to stay on top of your whole client portfolio, but that can be easier said than done. So, I don't know if you've come across one of these situations where, for example, PMax decides to have a bit of a moment and quadruple spend, and you've only kind of caught it a day or two later. Or a client maybe accepts, or somebody on the team accepts the auto applied recommendations in an email, and all of a sudden all your keywords get upgraded to broad match. There are lots of these instances where things can happen, and an account KPIs can swing wildly from its usual state. And it's quite important that you stay in the loop, and that as the PPC, as the account manager of a PPC account, that you're the first to know, being a step ahead of various stakeholders, be that clients or be that colleagues. And the last thing you want is to get a message from a client or a superior pointing out that, hey, something looks off. Can you look into it? And it's already been a few days, right? So some PPC managers look to solve this natively, say using Google Ads automated rules, right? So they'll maybe set some static thresholds of costs or clicks, and say, hey, if that reaches, if total clicks reaches this number or total cost goes above this number, send me an email. And this can be a good first line defense, but there's a couple of problems typically with this approach, right? As your client portfolio grows, one, you need to remember to set this up across all your clients. So if you get a new client, you need to make sure that you set it up there. And two, and perhaps a more important problem, is that these are typically static thresholds. So as an account kind of say grows or shrinks, that number, that hard-coded static number that you inputted, stops being the relevant number, right? So, for example, if an account grows by 30%, suddenly all your rules are going to pop off, but it's actually normal, right? So there's a lot of false positives in setting up these kind of manual thresholds, and it can mean that these alerts then, kind of become noise, and don't become as useful. So what I have to show you here is one of Opteo's alerts, right, that monitors your accounts 24/7, and if there's anything that looks out of place, we'll bring it to your attention. So there's no setup to these alerts. They're enabled by default, and we go into quite a lot of depth in terms of understanding what's normal in patterns. For example, if you don't advertise on Saturdays, we're not going to tell you, hey, everybody freak out, there's no ads running on Saturdays, right? So I'll give you a little example of one that I was looking at earlier. So here you can see an alert where clicks is looking, we're used to having like 7.3K, maybe 8.5K clicks. And over here, we've gone up to 14 and a half, right? And so this is outside of the usual range, right? So clicks increased by 26%. Maybe it's due to seasonality or a recent adjustment, but, heads up. And you can see that we're also looking at something kind of interesting here, where we are seeing what might be the responsible campaign driving this overall account kind of anomaly. And in this case, you can see it's actually a Performance Max campaign, which is kind of fun. That's grown by 50%, right? And so you can see that this is across all your accounts here. So it's a way for you to keep an eye on your entire portfolio, have a second pair of eyes, and you'll always be the first to know if anything looks out of place.